What's up, everybody? I'm David Hain. Welcome to episode 64 of the A to D from Addict to Disciple podcast. If you would like one-on-one counseling, or to launch or join a group using the podcasts or the From Ashes to Destiny curriculum, please send me a message by email at davidfromatod@gmail.com or go to my website, www.fromatod.org, and click on the contact page. When we come back, we'll get into this episode entitled 2 Core Fears in Recovery. Welcome back to today's episode, number 64, entitled 2 Core Fears in Recovery. Today's episode will be another group session. I want to thank all the listeners for your feedback asking for more group sessions. I'm honored to have the same friends in recovery from the U.S., England, South Africa, and Australia sharing their hurts, their hearts, and their hopes in this group. As before, I'll be keeping them anonymous, but I'll be saying their answers as if we were having a group meeting. And guys, thank you so much for your help in the group session podcasts. Today, we are missing 2 guys from our group. This is typical in group sessions, as guys have schedule conflicts, new jobs, medical appointments, or sometimes they're just going through a tough time, and it's a tendency to withdraw or isolate for a week or two, even though that may be the time that they need group the most. You know, it's difficult to show up and share with others while trying to sort out things on your own. So please keep our 2 guys in your thoughts and prayers. Okay, here's today's question. There are 2 core fears. The first one, losing what you have, and the second, not getting what you want. So how have these fears affected your recovery? And what do you think about this solution? Falling in love with where you are. Okay, Dante, you want to start us out? Sure, Dave. Regarding losing what you have, it will often cross my mind whenever I'm tempted that I can lose what I have. It typically doesn't happen in the moment, but if I do push away and don't respond to those desires, I eventually see the fact that I would lose what I have if I responded to my addiction. So I think the fear of losing what I have in this way has been healthy for me to help keep me in check when I am tempted to go in the wrong direction. Fear of not getting what I want in the past has led me to anxiety. Today I'm thankful I don't really carry that fear much at all, unless I start comparing myself to others and start living in that mind space. Only then does that fear really seem to take hold of me and play a part in my distrust of where I'm at in life. The more I remind myself that God has a plan for my life, that's where I understand that He's working it out for His purposes and glory. The more I remind myself of that, the better I am to myself and to others. Great start, Dante. I can hear the tension of anxiety that arises whenever temptation shows up or when we start comparing our life to others. So even though we feel strong in the face of that temptation, comparison can undermine our strength. Eddie, what do you think about this? Well, David, for me, the solution is being comfortable, appreciative, and satisfied with who I have become. Living in the moment, focusing on the now. Once you've accepted that, you can only grow from there. And for me, that's canceling out any fears that I may have had. There will always be challenges, but they get easier as you tackle them daily. I'm in a new chapter and excited to be writing out all the new pages that I am creating in my family, my work, and myself. I'm my now. Wow, so true, Eddie. You are your now, and the focus is to stay in that moment and continue to grow on what we are building in recovery. And that is the key to canceling out our fears. Charlie, I see you nodding in agreement there. What do you say about these questions? Well, David, the fear of losing what I have affects my recovery because as I put my recovery first in my life, I'm scared as hell that I'll pick back up or have a mental breakdown. Therefore, each day I exalt God in my life and follow His direction for my day and in the moments of disturbance. When I'm spiritually fit, there are no other fears, only gratitude for all the other blessings the Lord has given me. Honestly, I'm too blessed to be stressed. I'm human, so I go there, but instead of picking up or turning to fits of rage, these days I work my recovery program that God has given me. When the thoughts of fear pop up, I pop down to my knees to pray. The Lord wraps me in His robe of righteousness. And instead of continuing in fear, I practice praise, prayer, and worship. The fear slips away because of my faith and relationship with Jesus. I don't have to worry about losing anything as long as I have Him. The fear of not getting what I want affects my recovery in ways of disturbances I go through, I think. When I'm running on selfishness, thinking outside the present moment and being ungrateful for all that I do have, I have to take a look at my program, and I usually find that I'm letting something slip away, like meetings, meditation, calling support group members, and spending quality time in my faith. It's also a control issue with me. When I start running on fear of not getting what I want, I start to try and control everything. It's like the phenomenon of craving with drugs or alcohol. Once I start it, I can't stop. The only way that works for me is getting into the Word of God. The answers come from there. I begin to know that I have all that I need and God is in control. I feel His Spirit with me. My thoughts change from fear, wants, worry, anxiety, anger, selfishness, lies, and stress to things that are of truth, noble thoughts, righteousness, purity, lovely, admirable stuff, excellence, and praiseworthy ideas. All I really want these days is to subjugate myself and keep that down and exalt the Lord God in all situations. I must admit, I'm still a work in progress, and I pray that I do get to the point one day where I can see it just getting easier every day. Awesome, Charlie. That is so vital to remain strong in our faith and know that God is the strength we need in times of fear and stress. Adam, what are your thoughts on this one? Well, for me, the fear of losing my sobriety is important to me. The fear of losing my life is dear to me, and I don't want to lose my family, and they don't want me to lose my life either. I stay sober so that these fears can't exist. I surround myself with like-minded people who are close to Christ, and I put Him and my recovery first and surround myself with people who put their recovery first. So in essence, when I do that, it brings me closer to Christ. The fear of not getting what I want, well, I have to say this fear does not exist. Because if Christ does not want me to have it, then I don't need it right now in my life. I have to be patient and know that when he feels I'm ready, I will get it. Shaw, so true, Adam. As we stay clean and sober and surround ourselves with clean and sober people, we grow stronger. As we face our fears, we're actually minimizing the strength of fear in the future. Harry, how about you? Well, David, with my situation pertaining to those two core fears, it's been different because I did lose everything in my addiction. I lost my family, my possessions. I ended up homeless for a period and ended up in a shelter. My late pastor always advised me that now that I have hit rock bottom, it's time to build a new foundation with God, and the only way left for me to move is up or forward in life. I promised myself that I will not stay in the same situation and do everything to get my life back. It wasn't easy for the first 12 months because I was still separated from my wife, and she was not trusting me due to my history with relapses. I was blessed with a job with a company car and found a room to rent. To answer your second question on not getting what I want, I was strong in praying at that time because that's one of the things I did when I got home in the evenings from an AA or an NA meeting or a church service. I can honestly say that I've been receiving answered prayers in God's timing. Whatever I prayed for, believing in it and trusting the Lord, I have been receiving. I prayed that God would restore my life and bless me with employment, and he's done it. I prayed for my family life to be restored. And it took about a year, but it was restored. Since then, life has been amazing. I now live a simple life with my family, not based on material possessions. I do have a few prayers that I've been waiting on the Lord for answers. And some of them I've been waiting all 7 years of my recovery, but they're starting to come through. Unfortunately, I did fall in love with where I was in my life, sort of like a comfort zone, and that was stagnating my growth. I recently decided to make a change and take a leap of faith in my career. It's something new that I've not done, and I pushed away the fear and anxiety and keep thanking the Lord for the success and prosperity I have found in my new career. The one thing that is stressed in my household now is that fear and anxiety are not from God. We have the right to be a God-centered life person by having faith that he will be our provider no matter where we are in life. So that's right, Harry. It's so important to never lose sight of where we came from and to not lose sight of the new foundation that we've built. And also to know that this new foundation is built on solid rock and not shifting sands. How about you, Ben? David, these are good questions. My point of reference, and probably always will be my point of reference, is the time spent in prison. When I was there, it was, of course, the consequence of my actions in my life of crime and being a thief. But by the time I made it to prison, I already had a couple of months of sobriety under my belt from living in a homeless shelter. So my mind was clear, and my attitude was an attitude of gratitude. I had lost everything by that point. I didn't even have a name. They gave me a prison number. But in that situation, I learned contentment. Literally learned contentment. So any little thing that I acquired, be it emotionally, spiritually, or even materially, I was overwhelmed with gratitude and thankfulness. And that seemed to always kill the fear of thinking I was going to lose what I had or not get what I wanted. Of course, when I got out of prison, there were things I wanted: a family of my own, a place to live, a car, a job, a few dollars in the bank, basic financial and material needs. But my point of reference, being in prison and having nothing, even relying on them to give me daily meals, kind of set me up in a good place to where each little newly acquired thing in my life I was so grateful and thankful for. But I always had in the back of my mind, and still do, what if you lose this? If you lose relationships? My point of reference always keeps me in a place where I don't fear too much losing things or worry about acquiring more. If I lose it all, I know exactly what it feels like. And the good thing is, it's not a bad place at all. It's probably the best place you could be. I felt the presence of Jesus Christ more closely during those times when I had absolutely nothing in prison than some of the most fruitful and material blessed times I've now experienced outside of prison. So at the end of the day, I guess what I'm saying is we all need to fall in love with the love of Jesus and fall on his love. Rest on that, knowing that whatever you have is a gift from him. And if you lose it, at least you still have Jesus, and you will never lose him. And that is the best place to be. Shaw, that's an awesome point to close this session, Ben. As we remain thankful and in an attitude of gratitude, our fears disappear as quickly as they appeared. Thanks for listening to this episode of the A to D from Addict to Disciple podcast. If you enjoy these podcasts, share the link with your friends and contacts all around the world. If you'd like to join a group, and this is for all our listeners, if you'd like to join a group, just drop me a message and I'll get you connected online, in person, wherever fits you best. Tune in Monday for our next episode, and as always, stay safe and stay strong.